everybody, and welcome to another episode of tonight's Stream Miami. I want to thank you all for tuning in last night with Roxy Andrews. It was a fantastic interview. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, and we learned a lot about the entertainer and the person who is Roxy Andrews. If you support and you like this platform, I beg you to please subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're going to give you the link later on in the show. And also, if you want to donate on Cash App to the entertainers or the show, myself, we're striding to and thinking of expanding the ways of means of this show and make the production level a little higher to be able to cater to a bigger demographic and a bigger audience. And all your help is necessary and needed to be able to take this project to a next level. I'm excited because tonight I get to talk and have a different kind of talk and a great conversation with a cool cat. He's a good friend and just an amazing person to be around with. This is a former Mr. Gay US of A, the one and only Michael LaMasters.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. Just here in my little quarantine home.
So you worked all day today?
I did. I got off at 5 o'clock. Got off early just for you.
That's good. Yeah, you better.
And missed the gym.
And you missed the gym today.
I skipped the gym only today for you.
So let me ask you something. Are you nervous?
Not as much as I was. I'm always calculated, and I don't like the unknown, and so I always like try to overthink things. So I kind of got in my head beforehand. I was like, oh, it's gonna be this. How do you do this? And then now it's just like, screw it. It's like walking in for a pageant.
What did you do to calm down?
I took a shower. We won't talk about what I did in the shower, but I took a shower. And then I had a little shot of Tito's and water with no lime. This time it's just pure.
This ain't that kind of show. But if you want to share, if you have any videos about what you did in the shower, that's fine for me, baby.
There's no videos.
There are plenty of people here that really would. So let's get started, baby, because there's a lot to talk about, and I'm excited that you're here. I want to thank you for accepting my invitation to be here tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
Thank you. And let's just get to it. I want to have a little quick round of questions for you, and just break the ice real quick. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. So this is just a fast round. So you got to give me these answers just like that. So yes, you got to just give me the fast round and anything and everything you can think of. And if you need to elaborate a little bit, you need to keep it short.
Oh, there's rules. Okay.
Ready?
I don't like rules. Okay, let's go.
You don't like to follow guidelines. That's your problem. Let's not start. Listen to me. Focus. You ready?
I'm here.
Favorite color?
Blue. Cobalt blue, to be exact.
Favorite drink?
Favorite drink is Tito's with Topo Chico lime.
If you could be food, what would you be?
If I was food, I'd probably be a bacon cheeseburger on top of a meat lover's slice of pizza.
Damn, that's really specific, bitch. You hungry, girl? What do you wear to go to sleep?
It depends.
You see, this is what
you can't ask those kind of questions because there's two types of sleep. There's me by myself. I'm probably in a pair of shorts, and when I'm not by myself, I'm probably not wearing anything.
Beach or the pool?
Oh, the beach.
Cardio or weights?
Both. I'm a CrossFitter.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
What song are you obsessed with right now?
Oh, I can't admit this. Because I keep saying that I'm not, but I am obsessed with Rain on Me. And I'm always singing it. But I always tell people that I'm not, I don't like the song.
Why?
Because I just feel like I'm like jumping on the bandwagon, but it's very catchy. And I'll catch myself just like
What is the grossest thing you've ever eaten?
A mopani worm. I ate that in Botswana, which, if you've seen The Lion King, is that big fat white worm that like Timon and Pumbaa eat. He's like, delicious.
Was it alive or dead?
It was dead, and they charcoal grilled it.
But why did you just wanted to try it? Why did you eat that?
No, I went to a restaurant that's like a kind of like those Brazilian churrascarias, but it's like an all-you-can-eat like meat place in South Africa, and you get to try all the little wild game, and they have a challenge at the end. They give you like a plate of like mopani worms, and if you eat them, they give you a certificate and take your picture and all that. And I was like, well, come on, we have to do this. Like,
Basically, because you wanted the attention.
I wanted the certificate.
When you were a kid, what did you want to be?
When I was a little kid, this is really embarrassing. I really wanted to be Michael Jackson when I was a little kid because I'm an 80s baby. And that was like my idol until probably like when I became a teenager. Then I wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader because I thought that was the bee's knees. Like you couldn't touch that growing up in Dallas. So I had a lot of different changes.
Are you hungry right now?
No, I had a snack.
What did you have?
A chocolate chip, like a little protein bar.
You thought about it, huh?
I couldn't remember the brand. I was thinking about the brand.
Country life or city life?
City all the way.
Target
I wish I could
or
have
Walmart?
a country home though in the city.
Target or Walmart?
Target.
McDonald's or Wendy's?
McDonald's. Big Mac all the way, #1. Supersize me.
Where does LaMasters come from?
LaMasters originally comes from Lauren LaMasters, who's no longer with us. Then she passed the name to Chanel LaMasters, who is here in Dallas, Texas. And then that's my drag mom.
How did that happen?
Oof, that's a big question. So I was originally a Hughes from Nadine Hughes out of Austin, Texas. Keep Austin weird. When I moved, I made the decision. I moved to Dallas. I was like, I'm not performing. I'm not doing any of this ever again. All this stuff is like ridiculous. I'm gonna focus on like me. Me and Chanel were friends, and then slowly but surely, hey Taryn, love Miss Texas. I started backup dancing for people again, making my way back into the scene. Really good friends with Chanel, and she kind of like took me under her wing. And then I told her when I was going to compete, like I was going to use her name. And then she thought it was kind of like ha ha ha. And then I competed, and it was on paper. So
that's a good story. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know it like that. So let's get personal.
Okay.
Let's dive in and go real deep into your past and your childhood and all that good stuff and all that jazz. You were actually born in Germany. I don't hear you now. Oh, now I do. Now I do.
Yeah. I was born on an Air Force base. Both of my parents were in the Air Force. That's where they met. I was born in Germany. They were stationed there. And then we moved to, I believe it was Lakenheath in the United Kingdom. And I lived there. And I actually didn't step foot in the United States until I was 5 years old.
You're 35 now.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, well, bitch, you know, we gotta own it. It is what it is, baby.
You didn't let me say it. You just called me out like that.
And I'm older than you, and I'm good with it.
Hey, there you go.
And hey. Listen.
Look, this is gonna become a different kind of show in a minute.
Listen. So, you have a sister that's older than you for 2 years, right? And she has a little girl, and a little boy. They're 12 and 10 years old. And they live in Texas, in the country, right?
Well, farmers.
How's the relationship with your sister?
It's not good. Over the last couple years, my sister used to live in the city, and then they made a big change and decided they wanted to raise their kids very conservatively in a country home. They kind of like we bought a farm type environment, and I don't know really what disconnect or what transition she went through. But over the last couple of years, she kind of like has separated herself, I guess, from her close family, kind of set in her ways. And unfortunately, that was like, hey, brother, love you. Someone who was like my best friend, almost like my twin growing up. Now, unfortunately, we just have zero relationship, which kind of is disheartening.
Does that affect you?
It does at times. Like I have moments, like I might like Instagram stalk to check on the kids, or you spend your whole life with someone. So you constantly think about them, not constantly, but here and there, things, or it's something you want to share, especially around like holidays. It's like the Thanksgiving dinner, and that this sibling or this person in your family is not going to be there, and it can get depressing at times because you want that relationship, you miss those people, you yearn for them, but unfortunately you can't change situations that other people choose to do and don't want to be a part of.
You're not able to see the kids or talk to
No,
them.
no, at all.
She was at your step down at US of A about
That was one of the
when
last times I saw her. She came with my mom to my step down.
that was about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
In
how
2016.
long? So you haven't seen her in 5 years?
Correct. Yeah.
Do you resent her for this?
No, not at all. I believe everybody goes through whatever they're going to go through. They kind of have to go through all their emotions and let it live out. Like I still love my sister. That's always going to be my family. I would never resent her. My only fear is I hope nothing ever happens to anybody else in the family. And there's like, I don't want her to miss out on that. That would like destroy my heart to know that she missed something that was really big in the family.
When that moment comes, if you guys reunite again, do you think you would have that conversation?
I don't think I'd have to have that conversation. I would just I would welcome her with open arms and just show her love and affection. I don't think it needs to go right to, why would you do this, or this, and like question her and beat her up about that. It would just, let me show love and compassion, try to have some type of understanding. And when she's ready to talk about whatever she's going through, let her do that, not push that on her. I would never do that.
You do have a relationship though with a half brother
Yes, that's
who's
David.
7 older than you. So tell me about David and the boys.
David's my older brother. He's my half brother. So it's funny when we're around each other because he's all white. If you don't know, I'm half black, half white. I'm not Puerto Rican, even though everyone thinks I am. We have a good time when we go out because a lot of people, he'll walk into a room, or if I'm flying out to California, I can walk into the house and it's like, oh, I thought your brother was in town, and here's this black guy standing there, and everyone's like, well, who's this guy, So we get a lot of laughs out of it, and he's like, you're standing right next to my brother. But they recently just built a house outside of Sacramento. Those are my 2 nephews right there, Asher and Beckett. They are just a joy. I love watching them just grow up. They're always sending me pictures and videos. But it was really interesting. My brother went off to the Navy around 18, I believe, and it kind of separated our relationship at that time because I was, entering high school. He disappeared for a little while, went off to the Navy, and then when he came back from his tours, it was around my freshman year of college. We kind of started having a relationship again, but we were a lot older. We were also introduced to alcohol with each other. And then we definitely knew we were related because it was like 2 peas in the pod, night on the town. We were crazy together. I was like, oh yeah, we're family. You can never deny this.
So your both your parents, one of them is white, and then the other one is black, and you went to an all white school, and you were the only person of color in that school, in the entire school. And you mentioned that you were always being like singled out. Tell me about this.
Yeah, my parents did a great job of never raising me to see color. My mom always told me that she wanted me to be colorblind when she raised me. So I didn't really know the difference. But then there was always that sense of like, oh, Michael's the special student. Be nice to Michael. Or, oh, this is happening in the school and there's a picture. Michael needs to be put into the, in the picture. And as a kid, you're kind of just like, why am I always in these weird environments? Oh God, that's embarrassing. Like I was always set in these weird environments, and it was like an unknown. It was a very unknown. I didn't know why. It just kind of felt peculiar or odd to me. Because you look around and you never really look at yourself when you go to like an all-white school, because you just see everybody else, and you think that's what you look like because you're not walking around with a mirror, in front of yourself every single day.
You did mention this to me, that you didn't realize, that you were a different color. This wasn't your thing because you were raised to be that way. Just to see really no color. Do you think that you were privileged about being raised this way?
Yes and no. I think it was a privilege because I can carry that over into my adult life, that I never look at someone by their race, their creed, their origin, their background. I never perceive that or say that's because how this person is. But at the same time, I wish I had some of the same passions or the fervor, of different communities that I see now. But unfortunately, I just can't relate. I can have compassion, but unfortunately, I just can't relate it the same way. And I wish I had that. But I also wish I could keep my blinders on at the same time.
I want to remind our viewers that, to please share the video. When you share the video, you share the love. I always say that. So make sure that we get some viewers here to learn a little bit more about Michael. Looking back, Michael, as at that situation when you were singled out, when you were treated just differently, and all of that, do you think that this affected you?
Oh, most definitely. I'll
In what
never
way?
forget. I'm sure, like psychologically, emotionally, it's changed. I'll never forget. It was in the third grade when I actually learned what color I was. My mom used to come have lunch with me on Fridays. And I remember she left one day in the cafeteria. And one of the girls came up to me and she goes, "Oh, I saw you had lunch with your white mom." And I remember just kind of like sitting there, like the rest of the day, really confused. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? My white mom. I was like, I just call her mom. Like, what is this new label in front of mom? And just kind of like having a question. Then I have to go home and I'm like, Mom, why are you a white mom? Like, what does that mean? And having to explain, like, oh, well, that's a race. Like, I'm white and now your dad is black. So if they say it's your black dad, like, that's what that is. And I think it does mess with you because you don't have a lot of questions, but you hear things. You hear racial slurs when you go to school. You hear things that people say, and you have no one really to ask because you're in isolation and you're sitting there growing up, into your teenage years of always just like, I don't know what this means, but everyone keeps singling me out or saying these, and I have to go home all the time and explain or ask questions. And I don't think any parent wishes that. That's not the questions they want to come home to. No parent wants to help their child with algebra homework, but they also don't want them coming home and be like, what does the N word mean? And why do I get called that 5 times a day? And things like that. So it was definitely a challenge. And of course it affected me. But I think it built a bridge and kind of helped shape me become a strong individual, because I did have to hold a lot of things in and always have to calculate and think about things. So probably is why I'm a little bit reserved when I think about things, or I pause to think about things, because I'm always calculating about, well, why would someone say this? Why would they do this? Why would they act this way? And it's probably held on to me since now. Yeah.
Your parents got divorced about 10 years ago, but when they were together, and you were with them, was there ever a time, a time maybe that you can recall, that they were racially profiled just because they were a biracial couple that you can remember?
Yeah, excuse me. Actually, I can recall, even I didn't get to meet my mom's parents for the first 9 years
Oh, wow.
because they disowned her for marrying a black man.
Oh.
So mind you, my parents got married in the late 70s. So this was all new. Like interracial couples, that was new to America. This was not a thing. Her parents disowned her. And that was another thing that I was never
Well,
privy.
it was a thing. It just wasn't an acceptable thing.
Yeah, it was an acceptable thing. And I wasn't privy to that. I didn't even know. You know, it was just like, oh, am I going to see the grandparents? And I always met my dad's side of the family in Florida, never my mother's. And then 9 years later, I got to meet them. It wasn't, this is why you're meeting them, because they finally got over themselves. It was just like, here's your grandparents and things like that. So that's something, it wasn't until later on in life when my parents explained to me, this is why you didn't know your grandparents for 9 years of your life, is because they actually didn't want anything to do with your mom. And I was like, oh, wow.
But when did you learn this? I'm sorry.
I saw them probably, I guess, around when I was 9, probably 7, because my sister's 2 years older than me. She was right after they got married. And then after they got married, her parents separated themselves for 9 years.
And do you have a relationship with them now? Your
My
mom's
grandparents?
parents?
No, all of my grandparents have passed. Yeah.
Um, I wanna ask you, you know, because you are mixed, you know, you don't get the same backlash, you know, from like the African American community does. You know, people might think that your ethnicity is completely different than what you really are.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me an example of when they have racially profiled you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do think I'm Puerto Rican. So I do get a lot of people that will walk up to me or speak Spanish to me. And that's not really like a negative profiling. But sometimes I'm caught off guard because I get it a lot. And I'm just like, I have no idea what you just said to me. I'm like, but gracias, sure. You know, I can have a little kiki. On the other hand, I really think, especially growing up in Texas, it is a red state right now. Um, I do get looked at as a black man a lot of times. You do walk into the store, and people do look at you different, or ladies pull their purse close to you or want to walk away from you. And I guess it kind of goes back to my childhood because I kind of question, like, what is this person acting weird for? Like, why is this lady being strange with me, or why do they not look at me in the eyes when I'm talking to them, or they want to look away, and you feel some type of way. I don't know. I don't really have direct instances because I don't like to hold on to that stuff. When I'm at work, I see it daily. I'm in Dallas, Texas. Just the location of my job. People come in, they act some type of way, and you just kind of have to let that stuff roll off. I don't like to hold on to that negativity or that spirit. And it's just kind of like, ooh, I'll pray for you, girl, and let's keep it moving.
During the current climate and the racial problems that we're heavily facing, and the Black Matters movement and all of that, do you feel that silence is complicity?
That's a tough one. Because I feel like there's two spectrums. There are people that are very vocal, very passionate, but that's them. That's what they want to do, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think other people are here on earth to be supportive. And I don't think it's their silence means they're complicit. I think a lot of people just don't know how to react. This is something that we read about in history books, and we never thought, oh, like when I was in 5th grade and I'm reading this in the history book about MLK and all this, you think, okay, that stuff is over. That's history. That's the past. And yes, we live with it, and it's kind of like a non-talked about thing. And now people are just sick of it. People are sick of it, as they should be, and they're standing up and they're speaking. And I think some people are just freaking out of like, this is really happening in my time, and they don't know how to react. So they're scared to say the wrong thing because they want to be supportive. So that's maybe why they're quiet. But I don't think it matters whether you're very loud and you're vocal or you're quiet, as long as your heart is in the right place for change and equality, and making sure that Black lives do matter. You could be on either spectrum. It's just as long as your heart's in the right place.
You said to me that you have a very hard time expressing your feelings.
I do.
You suppress them.
I do.
Is it something that you do now, or do you feel like this is an effect that you have from your childhood?
I do to an extent. I've gotten a lot better. I cry a lot. Everyone know I'm a big crybaby. As you saw today, a lot of people are like, "Oh, girl, she's gonna cry on this live feed." I'm like, "I'm not crying. I have nothing to cry about." I think it's. I hold myself to like being a perfectionist, and I think it's. I feel like it's a sign of weakness if I have an emotion or if I act a certain way. So I guess I put it behind me, and I try to suppress it. Of like you can't show that feeling. You show that when you get at home. You're a strong man. You have to stand up, chin up, and like hold yourself together. So I always just suppress that feeling. Well, as I got older, I realized it's not always good because your feelings are a part of your communication and how you communicate with other people. And if you don't tell them how you feel or what you're going through, it's not fair to the other person to have to pry into your life. So you have to get better at kind of expressing that, whether it's love or sadness or fear or rage, whatever you're going through, you kind of have to get it out there.
That was good expression. Listen, so you always like to dress up since you were a kid. Oh wait, so why don't you tell me about that little blue dress, girl? Tell me about the blue dress.
Okay. So I'd asked my mom one day, it was not too long ago, we went to brunch. And I asked her, like, did you ever know when I was gay? Like, did you ever have that inkling? You know, people are always like, oh yeah, I knew my child, girl. Like you were wearing my heels and putting on my lipstick when I came home from work. So I wanted to know from my mom, like, what was the instance that you knew, like, oh, child, my son is different? And she was like, I didn't really know until, high school, when she found some things. And I was like, really? You didn't know about
Wait,
the
wait,
little
wait,
blue?
wait a minute. Wait, I did what? She found what? Oh, okay, well, keep going. Tell me about the blue dress.
We'll get to the coming out story
Yeah, I'm
later.
gonna write this. Yes, I'm gonna write this
Yes.
down.
So I distinctly remember I'm an 80s child. And when they dropped me off for school in the morning in pre-K in London, they had a little dress up station. And there was this blue, poofy prom dress that I absolutely freaking loved. And every day I used to put it on. I had to put it on and I got my fantasy. So I thought, being my parents, they'd pick me up, but I had to get out of this blue dress that they saw that every day. So I finally asked my mom, I was like, you didn't know when you saw me like wearing this blue dress? And she's like, I had no idea you put that on every single day. And I'm like, oof, child, thank God I didn't turn out to be a drag queen because I was spilling the oats at a young age.
Do you still have that blue dress with you?
It's now a blue cape. I turned it into a little Superman cape.
So, when did you know that you were different? Like, did you always know or no?
I knew, obviously, at that age, I didn't know why I loved the dress. I just thought it was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. And then I remember going into school, you look at boys a different kind of way, especially like in middle school when you're starting to go through puberty and figuring out yourself. And, you're sharing different pictures or you're sneaking, back then we had little pamphlets that were porn. I don't know if all these young viewers know about that, but it used to come in like little magazines and you'd be sharing it in school in your backpack and stuff. And I didn't want to look at the girls. I was like, well, where's more pages of that one? I'm like, I want to see that. But you see the way your buddies are acting and you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to say that because they're not talking about that. And you start realizing I have different feelings. I don't know why, but I'm gonna borrow this book later and not tell you the pages that I looked at.
Well, you had your first crush in middle school.
I did. My first crush was the quarterback. I was on the football team. I won't say his name because I still live here. Uh, the most beautiful man at the time. Most beautiful man. And I used to just drool over this guy. If I saw him in the hallway, you just look at him, you're like, that thing is just beautiful. And I don't know why. I don't have a word for that. I can't say it. What I feel. And I'll never forget, because back then, I don't know if they still do it. We had communal showers in football. He hit puberty real early. And it was lovely. And I just remember I used to just always watch in the shower and like, and one day he caught me dead ass just, and he said, you know, you like that. And I was dead. I was dead because I was like, I do, but I can't respond. I do, but I can't respond. I do, but I want to do things, but I don't know what to do, and I don't even know what I want to do.
But what happened afterwards? Did you go for it?
He would no, ma'am. I lived down the country. I wasn't gonna be killed. Like those people are crazy out there. This was still at the all-white school. So no, I didn't. I was never really his friend. It was just he was a very jockey bro kind of guy. We just kept it cool, and he was just one of those fantasies that I always just like admired and saw in the hallways. It was like that man is beautiful.
In high school, things changed. Did you feel more like yourself then?
Very much so.
Tell me
We
how.
relocated to the city to get out of the country. There's a lot of issues, especially with my older siblings, with a lot of the racism and the issues. We just got kind of tired of it. So my parents wanted to move more to the city. That's when I got to experience a lot of diversity. I loved it. Joined different dance teams. I was in the band. If anything that was happening, I went from a little country town, you know, like 200 people in your class, to now there's like 1,000 people in your class. So there was so much more opportunity, and I just thrived in that environment. Everything I saw, I wanted to be a part of. Any group, I wanted to be a part of it. And I was a big flamer.
Are you a nerd?
What that was. I was a big nerd.
Yeah. Are you still a nerd? You're still a nerd.
I'm not. I'm very intelligent, and I'm very astute.
You're a nerd. You came out late. It was your sophomore year in college.
Very.
I don't know this story. You live with your roommates, and I know they found out, but I haven't heard this story yet.
Okay, so we had to rewind a little bit. So I remember senior year in high school, we were all upstairs, and my mom got on the internet, the little dial-up, the little AOL modem, and first thing that pops up on the internet was like some gay porn. And she just stops and she's like, "What is Hotmail?" And I just kind of like froze. And then my sister, being my sister, was like, "You know, like Hotmail, AOL, it's like email." My mom's like, "I know what MAIL is. What is hot MALE?" And I just like freaked out. I was like, "This is it. This is my moment. I'm like, I can't take this." My dad's like, "That's not mine." And my sister's like, "This sure as hell's not mine." And it's like one of those slow motion videos. Everyone just kind of like turns and looks at me, and I just froze. And I knew in that instant, I had the opportunity, like, that's not mine, and would have just kept going. But of course, I panicked like a little girl, and I was like, "Ah!" And I ran to my room. And I remember like going into my room, and I just remember stories, and I was like, I'm gonna get kicked out of the house. Like, this is my moment. Like, I'm over it. I have to deny this. Like, this is horrible. This is not the way. And I remember just like sitting on the other side of my bed crying, and my parents coming in there and like, "It's gonna be okay. Like, we love you, but you're not gay." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm not." Like, whew, we got out of this one. So I kind of suppressed it. And then I told myself, when I go up to college, I'm gonna go to a college that's not in town, and I'm just gonna let it out. I'm going to be me. And I wasted no time. It was about a week in freshman year, and I remember seeing this little Latin boy in the courtyard, and I was like, "Huh." I was like, who are you? Who are you? We connected, and then we became boyfriends. That went into my sophomore year. And then I had one roommate was in a fraternity, and the other one was pretty much in a fraternity. And we had a little condo on West Campus in Austin. And I came home one day, and I had hickeys all over myself. Yeah, very early 2000s. I know that's the worst. Well, you can't hide that.
You can't, and you don't even know how.
Yeah, the questions start going like, "Oh, what girl was this?" or "Who did you hook up with?" and this, that, and the other. And I finally just broke. And I was like, that little boy y'all keep saying is the one who did all this to me.
Oh, you actually told them?
Do what? Oh, yeah. Everybody knew everybody. We all knew each other. And everyone's like, I knew it. I knew all the girls. this is why you would never sleep with me. This is why you wouldn't hook up with me. And I'm like, ooh, no.
But
So then
during this time, you also had this conflict within yourself because you wanted to still be like this, this jock and the athlete and the popular guy kind of thing. And then, you
yeah,
know, you were like, with your boyfriend at times. So it's like
he was
not the
getting,
gay guy and not, not the jock. So it's like, what was all that about?
it was hard. I grew up, my parents were very, very religious, deacons of the church. So it was instilled, very Bible Belt. You're going to burn in hell. And I was like, I don't want to burn, but this is how I feel. So I kept holding on to that. And that's kind of like the internal battle that I was like, I feel this kind of way, but if I let this out, I'm going to be persecuted. So what do I do? But I'm going to go against it. And I still want to do this, but I kept hiding it. So I really had, I'd go to church on Sunday and I'm like, yes, go to hell, gay people. And on Mondays, like I'm spending the night with my boyfriend. And I think you just reach a point where you're like, you can't do this anymore. And that's when I finally just broke. It's like, I can't do this to myself. I don't care what the outcome is or what the circumstance is. I just have to be true to myself and kind of let that out.
College for you had no limits and you had no fears. You let it all out. And I'm not going to go about the stories that I know because then that's a different kind of show. But what is the only thing that you can say to this day that, I shouldn't have done that?
In college? Whew. I can't say one instance. It's probably just partying. You know, I probably would say I probably struggled with alcoholism in college and didn't realize it because you put an excuse to everything that you're doing because everything's acceptable when you're going to school. You're trying to find out who you're trying to be. And I think if I would have changed anything, I would have cut a lot of that back. Because I think that interfered with grades. It interfered with a lot of relationships, a lot of friendships at times, a lot of ways with me trying to find my path as who I am as a person. So I think that's one thing I'd probably like cut back or change.
What got you into go-go dancing?
This is a good one. So they had Boys Cellar back in the day, and they had college night where the college, all the straight college boys would go, take off the underwear, you win the night. If you won the night, you got to get on the pole the rest of the night, and then they'd hire you for the weekend. Jamie Perry hosted this show, and then they also had the Nadine and Satine show that they performed. And I remember, sneaking into Boys Cellar, like the straight guy. I'm the straight jock that has to be here for the $100. And Jamie coming up to me and saying, "You're going to enter this." And I'm like, "What do I have to do?" She's like, "You got to take off all your clothes and just get your underwear." And I'm like, "Hell no. That is ridiculous." Like, no, ma'am. I don't get naked for nobody. Little did I know. And I was like, let's do this. It's $100. Why not? And I remember winning the night. Well, there was a lot of controversy. The owner, I don't know much about him, was always accused of being racist, saying he would never hire a black dancer, this, that, and the other. And Jamie kind of encouraged that. She's like, "You're going to do this and you're going to prove them wrong. Like, and I had my little track body. I was feeling myself. So I did it. I won, and I had to work that night. Well, then I had to be hired for the weekend. And then next thing you know, Michael's on a box in his little underwear, shaking it and going. And
Well, you had a long run with that, baby. You shook your ass for a long time.
no.
Yes, you did. You sure did. So, what made you stop? Because you were heavy into partying and, the drugs and the alcohol and this, it's that phase that we kind of all go through. I mean, I don't know if everybody, but most of us go through that stage. What was that instance that made you stop?
Well, there's two. I haven't shared this story with many people in regards to stop go-going. I'll never forget the night I was on a box and a guy came up to me and he was like, "I'm going to take you in the bathroom and do these explicit things." And when you're up there, you have to feel your fantasy. You have to flirt. You have to give them the idea and the illusion. You're just like, okay, yeah, kiki. And the man actually grabbed me off the box and started dragging me to the bathroom. And mind you, this was like 80 pounds ago. So I was a little skinny kid. I wasn't the guy that I am now. And I remember feeling that, being overpowered by somebody and screaming for help, being dragged to the bathroom, and nobody did a single thing. Not one person stopped to help. And hey Josh, sorry, Shabelle, why would you interrupt in a good story? um, and I remember just like fighting all the way to the bathroom until this guy realized this fool's gonna make a scene. This guy is gonna make a scene, and he let me go. And I grabbed all of my stuff and I left, and I never got on the box again, and I still haven't to this day because of that. I didn't like the feeling, but I also didn't like that everybody just kind of watched and let it happen. And I was like, I'll never put myself in that situation again. Never, ever, ever again. Outside of that, from the partying, I just had like a breaking moment. Relationships weren't working out, work wasn't working out, like everything came to like a halt. And when you catch yourself going out 7 days a week and you go to a bar and it's only you and it continues to only be you, I'm thankful that I had enough self-awareness, and it kind of hit me hard, like, girl, I should not be the only person here. Everybody knows me and they know I'm gonna be back tomorrow night and they know I'm gonna be back next week. Like, this is sad. And that's when I kind of took a break from everything, and I was like, I need to get it together. And the only answer I told myself was get out of Austin, move away, start over, hit the reset button, and let's go. And that's kind of how I got myself out of that.
What scares you now?
What scares me now? I think I have a big fear of being alone. I have a lot of acquaintances. I have a lot of people that I kick it with. But sometimes I always think about the unknown in the future. And I don't ever want to be alone. And sometimes I think about that. And it can get very depressing when you think about it sometimes, because you're like, God, I just don't want to be alone. Like, I want to share this love with somebody. And when that time happens, like, I want to make sure that I'm with somebody or with people that I just love. And I'm just so scared of, like, when that moment happens, I'm going to be by myself. And that kind of freaks me out.
How did you get introduced into the pageantry scene?
Oh, pageantry. Going back to Austin, Miss Nadine Dingaling Hughes, walking down the drag, which was a street in Austin. And I remember she'd stopped me. And she was like always running up the drag for little college boys, very Nadine. And she stopped me and was like, hey, I'm going to this thing in Houston. I need boys to dance for me. It's drag, it's fabulous, it's great. And I'm like, let's do this. Like, I love it. Like, let's go. Let's be gay. There's an opportunity. Literally like 2 weeks later, fake ID in hand, we hit it to Houston, Texas. And this is for Miss Texas US of A. I have no idea what a pageant is, much less half of a drag show is outside of a strip off. And we get there, and I remember just the first couple nights, this is when Asia O'Hara is competing, Alyssa Edwards is competing, Sasha Andrews, Janet Andrews, Tirsa Matthews won that year, Coffee's there, Erica's there, like all the Texas girls are there. So you can imagine the level of competition, the level of performance, and me and this little gay boy seeing rhinestones, and I'm just like, what is this? And why do I love this? This is the most, this should be every night. What is this? Living my best life. I thought it was the most wonderful show I'd ever seen in my life. And I thought, this is every night? Like, why do I go to the drag bars? Like, this is the best thing ever. That's when I met the owner, Craig. And he saw me. I backup danced for Nadine. She did a Bride of Frankenstein talent. I was a Frankenstein. I think it was Coffee that was hosting that year. It made me take the mask off to see who I was, and kind of like, they do the little kiki gig and who are you? Da da da. Let's talk with the backup dancer, And Craig approached me and he was like, why don't you do Mr. Texas? And I was like, what the hell is that? And he's like, it's this, but it's for guys. And I'm like, shut everything up. I can do all this. and be a dude, I was like, oh, sign me up, baby. Let's go. uh, so I did the prelim in Austin. Thought I was everything that I could be. I remember Janet Andrews, I think she was the head judge, read me to the floor. She was like, "You're a big old man, and your Skittles and your purse just fell out in interview." And I was like, "I am who I am."
They still do, bitch.
There's no take backs. Like, I am who I am. Accept me. And she still brings that up sometimes. But then I went on and competed at Mr. Texas, and that's kind of how I got into competing. And that was in 2006,
Tell me
2007.
about what's this picture about?
That was presentation at Mr. Texas. It was Manny Marks' step down. He did, of course, a little Hawaiian theme. So we had to wear, I don't even know what that is. I was about to say a kimono, whatever. I thought that's what they wore in Hawaii. So
a little wrap game.
I had hair that was jacked up that I thought I was a hot man. That is ridiculous. I would never let myself wear that.
So you told me that you won Mr. Austin,
mm-hmm.
And that altered your ego. Like you thought you were like the hottest shit.
Oh, you couldn't tell me. I'm very competitive. I'm like hyper competitive, and anything in life. I don't care if it's a card game. I don't care if it's walking to the mailbox. I'm gonna beat you. I'm always one trying to compete with everybody about everything. So when I got introduced to the pageants, I was like, this is it. I just got to do 3 little things. Oh, and nobody can do this better than me. So I did Mr. Austin. I won the categories there. I think that was kind of like a detriment because it kind of fueled the fire. It was kind of like, see, I told you so. Like, ain't nobody in Texas got this. I got this. Then I went on to Mr. Texas. Didn't know a damn thing about the categories, what you're supposed to do. I'll never forget. I read the handbook because I'm a nerd. And it said you have 7 minutes to do talent. And I had a 7-minute talent, which was the longest talent. It was over at 4. And the next 3 minutes, I'm just going and going and going. Everyone's like, girl, when you watch the DVD, it's bad. Like, it's just silent and silent. It was awful. I made the top 5 in my first year. And I remember, like, I didn't know anything about the ending or prize packages or what you do. Like, in my mind, I was like, I was just supposed to win this thing. And I guess I didn't. And let's go. And, I remember Alyssa Edwards was there. And she's, like, handing me my plaque. And I'm like, what is this? And they're all, like, standing around. Like, you got to smile. I'm like, why are we taking pictures? Like, what is this? Like, girl, I got to go. Like, I didn't win this thing. But that's when I kind of had a wake-up call. And I was like, that was a lot of fun. Like, I loved the experience. I loved the competition. It was my first year, and I was like, oh, I made the top 5. And in Mr. Texas at the time, like, there was like 30 plus boys competing. It's still, if not the largest male contest in the entire country. So that was an honor to make the top 5. So then you have to come back. You get addicted. It's like,
yeah, but there was one time after you compete, after your 3rd time, you said, I'm not going back.
I was done.
You were bitter. Bitter.
I wasn't bitter. I think I got caught up in listening to too many other people. I think that's the hard part in any pageantry, whether I think it's drag or for boys. When you're new to the scene, you're a fresh breath of air. And I feel like everybody wants to jump on you and they want to guide you and they want to direct you and they kind of want to mold you to what, oh, I have an opportunity with this one. I'm going to put them in this cookie cutter. And you don't know. It's a new world to you. So you're like, okay, well, I didn't win. So now you know. And I kind of got too caught up in everybody else's ideas of who I was, everybody else's opinions, what I should do, how I should do it. And I just got flustered because I was never presenting myself on stage. And it was the year Ram won Mr. Texas. And then Ram was the first year we had US of A. And Ram won US of A. And I was just done. I was so through. I was like, I'm doing too much. I'm spending all this money. I'm doing everything to please other people. And I never am presenting myself on the stage. Girl, burn it all. Throw it all away. I'm done. I quit. Pageants are dumb. This was not as fun as it used to be. And I really got rid of everything. And I was like,
But
I'll
you
never
went
do it.
back 5 years later.
5 years later, yeah.
You went back and you slayed.
Honey,
Sure did.
honey,
You
I
sure
wasn't gonna
did.
go back the wrong way.
Let me
So
ask you something. So, a lot of people say that you're full of yourself. Are you full of yourself?
I'm not full of myself. I'm very astute and I'm very confident in who I am as a person. I know who I am as a person, and
Who
I
are
can
you as a
kind of get.
person?
I'm very confident. I know who I am. Like I know my flaws. I know my strengths. I know my character. I know my heart and my intentions with everything. I can see how people think that. My person on stage, you're there to put on a show. You're there to fill your fantasy, whatever your character is, whatever you're doing. Off stage, I can't be bothered with the stage. And I think a lot of people put you, your picture's blasted across gay bars all over the country. And people start developing this idea and who this person is when they come to my city and what they're going to do. And they have no idea who you are. They've never had a conversation with you. They don't understand you've had 30 minutes of sleep on a plane from your last gig to the next one.
Right.
Sometimes all you want to do is go to sleep. You do your gig, you hit your Red Bull, you go, and then it's tunnel vision. And sometimes you get caught up in that. And then he didn't say hi to me, or he wasn't that friendly. But I didn't see you, first of all. And it is not an arrogance or I'm better than. You're also there working and you're doing a job and you have so many people pulling you different ways that I can see why some people think that. But no. I'm one of the most kind-hearted, loving people. I'm silly. If you ever sat down and like have a conversation with me, you're gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna make you have a good time. So no, I'm not full of myself.
You sure are a good time, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Let's move on.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on, baby, to our next segment. Let's get some real talk. We're gonna get into pageantry and some real dirt that I have in here. So let's talk about US of A.
Yes.
What was your purpose at that time when you competed? What was the purpose of winning US of A?
When I won.
Yes. Why did you
Okay.
want to win? What was your purpose? Why was that a goal?
So USA was never my goal. Mr. Texas was my goal. Being a Texas boy, that is the elite, die hard. You've made it when you're Mr. Texas. So I became Mr. Texas. When I came back 5 years later, I was like, I'm going to win every category. I'm going to do everything. I am going to be Mr. Texas when I go back. Well, this time, remember when I stopped is when they started Mr. US of A. So I didn't have the idea of like, you have to go on and do this again at a national level. So I qualified and I'm like, well, what is this? I guess just do the same thing and whatever, like, and then there I go again, like, well, I'm going to win that because I'll just do the winning package and we got a gig. And that's when I met Jeffrey Kelly because he won that year. And I'll never forget watching him in talent and I was just awestruck. I was like, oh, this boy doesn't. Oh, okay. This is what we're doing. This is what we're supposed to do. Okay, I just lost this pageant. This is what it is. And I remember having that conversation with myself that I didn't try to be Mr. US of A because I was like, I'm Mr. Texas. You can't top that anyway. Well, then after the fact, you get your results, made top 5. And I was like, Michael, this is ridiculous. You didn't try and you still made top 5. If this is the last thing you do, is that the representation that you want to have of yourself? And I said, I'm not going out not being a trier.
Right.
I said, so honey, I'm going back. So I did my prelim about a week and a half, 2 weeks after I stepped down from Mr. Texas to go back to Mr. US of A. And I said, if I do this, even if I don't win, I want to put Michael on the stage and give it everything that I got. And then I won that year.
And you punished, bitch.
Just a little.
Punished. What's your most memorable moment that you can recall as Mr. Gay US of A?
I have a few. I have a few that I have to touch on. I remember it goes in order. There was 3 moments. The first one was when I got booked at Mr. Westland. I was so nervous. I love Atlanta. I love the pageantry. Um, it's something, and please, people, don't start reaching out. It's something I've always wanted to do. I think their pageantry there is just a
Baby,
different
there's nothing
standard.
like
It's
it.
at the details, and I'm like, I can't do. I'm always gagged when I see it. So when I got booked, I was like, oh, if you want to know about yourself and get free critiques, get booked in Atlanta because they will tell you about yourself on that stage. And I remember just being a mess, and I was just like, okay, this is my moment, and going out there at the jungle, and it was crickets because they want to feel you and kind of see who's this person we've never seen. And I remember just standing there, everyone's just watching, and I said, oh no, honey, this ain't gonna work. This is not how we're gonna do this. And I was like, you got to do something. Didn't even wait for my cue, nothing. Busted off the cover up, butt ass naked, started doing toe touches, shaking it, just entertaining the crowd. And I was like, and I had the time of my life. I
You
met so
got your life.
I got it all. So that's when I knew. I was like, okay, you can do this. Like, that was one of my moments. The second moment I'll never forget is I've always watched, Miss USA, always been in the audience, but I've always loved that stage. Something about that, it has that long catwalk. And I'm like, I want to get my Victoria's Secret fantasy on that one day, but I'm never going to be Miss Gay USA. And it was when Mocha called me and it was like, I need you to be the angel in my opening. And I was like, oh, we're about to do this. We are about, and I had made the biggest red, white, and blue wings. And you couldn't tell me, I didn't know the music. Everyone's like, you didn't say the words. I said, I didn't care about any of that. I don't care about anything that's happening right now. I am taking all 90 seconds and I am walking down this catwalk because this is the only time I get to do this. And that was like my moment that I lived for. I was like, I finally got to, that catwalk was mine and mine alone. Everybody had to watch. And I just, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was a Victoria's Secret model and I lived. That was the second one. And then the third moment was at US of A Newcomer when Daryl booked me there. I think that was the moment I realized I was part of the US of A family. Not so much as you're a title holder, but you're truly loved and accepted. Everybody knows who you are as that person. And just the love and the adoration that I got that week from everybody across the country. It was like, this is what you yearn for. This was that moment. I've arrived. I did it. Everything that I worked so hard for is shining in this week. And now I get to ride this high all the way to the rest of my reign.
You had an incredible reign. I
Thank you.
mean, it was really talked about, and you had amazing promos. Theo did a phenomenal job in
Oh,
every
yeah.
single picture.
He cussed me out a lot in those hotel rooms.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. It shows in your pictures. It shows. If those pictures are good, baby, you gotta cuss
Breathe,
it.
son, don't eat, turn, I was
It
like,
shows.
oh.
And you ran with Mocha Montrese, and of course I couldn't let has the opportunity and ask her to say a few words about you. So make sure you tap on a little sound gate when you get it.
Hi, this is Mocha Montrese, and this is for Michael. Michael, I want to say I love you, I love you, I love you. When I first seen you in person in 2014 at Miss Gay US of A pageant dancing for Jenna, I just loved your presence. Then you went on to capture the title of Mr. Gay US of A, and a couple of months later, I became your queen. It was the best time of my life. I love you. You are the yin to my yang, and truly the gentleman you are. I'm grateful and appreciated the journey with you. I wish you much love and success, and I missed you.
I love Mocha.
I want you to tell me the one thing. Don't give me one. Don't give me three or four. Just one thing that you love about this system.
It allows me the freedom to be who I want to be without judgment, and without reprimand. You're encouraged, you're enabled, and you're supported, and you're not directed to be anything other than yourself.
Does it feel like a family?
Oh yeah, it's more than a family. I was really shocked, especially after your reign. During your reign, you're so go 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 go, and then afterwards, you're like, oh girl, I'm gonna be forgotten. Da da da. Da. And then as you start realizing real life things happen to you, it's always the people from US of A that reach out first. When my dad passed away, everybody, they were the first ones, to reach out. Whenever, a job change, anything that's real life that happened to me, it's always people from the system that reach out first and foremost, or call me or follow up. And I can never forget that.
And that's one thing that I always ask, and I hear it often, from many of you, my friends, who are formers of that system. Um, like Chevelle told me the same thing. Layla told me the same thing. I get the same feedback. Like
Yeah.
it's that nature. Like they're real, and when they need to be there, they're there. So it's lovely that you all feel that way. So I want to get to some dirt. You are also a judge.
Hold on.
Well, get it ready, baby, because it's coming. It's coming. So I want to clear up rumors, and we're going to clear up a couple of rumors here in this interview. So you're also a judge, and there has been moments where people have expressed that they feel that this judge panel is not 100% professional, because you guys get full and you might get distracted and not paying attention, and also it's perceived as the winnings for the past 3 or 4 years have stayed in the family because you're all a tight crew. What is your comment about that?
I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for the other 6 people that I sit next to every single year. I can only speak on my behalf why I was selected. I was selected to judge based on my knowledge, based on my business acumen, based on my ability to be so detail oriented. I can pick out who is the next winner. Can I say I've never been full? No, I have a good time. That is part of US of A, is like, have a good time, but it's never hindered me or hindered my ability to perform my job. I think a lot of times you do have an audience. Sometimes we don't take when they're observing. People watch, but they don't really know, one, your state of mind, what you're doing, what you're looking for, or sometimes, unfortunately, and it's not a read, you might have to entertain yourself because you might not be entertained about what you're watching. So sometimes you might have to encourage each other to have a good time. But as far as being in the family, this one I always laugh about, because anybody who has been judged by me knows I am one of the hardest judges. I do not give away points to anybody. Whether I know you, I don't know you, you are going to get the same read. I'm very thankful that I have such detail. I see everything. Nothing passes my eyes. But I also offer the support and the help to anybody who will ask. And I don't know if it's intimidation, or I feel like I don't know why people don't ask. You offer it, you write your number down, you say, contact me, I want to talk about this, that, and the other. Nobody really takes the time to ask, but the few people in the history that I've judged that will reach out to formers, will reach out to judges, will ask for honest feedback and critiques, because you have 60 seconds to write it in a box this big. You can't put all your thoughts, your prayers, your hopes for this person in that little box. There has to be more dialogue after that. The people who do take on that opportunity are always the people that I see that succeed. They're the ones that become a winner. Whether it is someone in my drag family or someone that might be close to me, if they've taken on the advice or the support, that is not what made them win the contest. Yes, I want to root for them. Yes, I want to cheer for them. But on the outside, if you don't know how US of A is scored, you know, if I pulled it for anybody, they would lose the contest. Then my scores would automatically be dropped. My scores would stand out when US of A releases the scores 10 minutes after final night. And you say, oh, well, Mr. Michael LaMasters gave everybody a 12, which everybody knows I don't give out perfect scores to anybody. It's obvious. It would be apparent. Also, if you separate myself, if you pull me completely off of any panel that I've been in, it would not change the outcome of who won. Those people won because they deserved it and they earned it that night. It had nothing to do with my personal feelings or my belief or support for somebody.
How did Angel Size become your drag dad?
You know, it was really organic. It was crazy. I followed Angel from being Mr. Continental, the Puerto Rican puppy, you know. And after I won US of A, we just kind of had this instant bond. I loved his costuming. I loved everything, just everything about his image, that he is a big old woman. But he's
okay.
Okay, don't let him fool you. His coiffed hair and he just epitomizes trying to be perfect in every single way. And I was drawn to that. I was like, oh, that man just looks like money. And, you know, as a new, I was never a national title holder. I didn't know anything about it. We just constantly had conversations, and it just became this organic thing where he really mentored me, or he critiqued me, like, you can't wear that on stage. I saw a picture of your booking last night. You can't be like that. And he kind of just became a father figure, and it just organically developed into the relationship that we have.
Well, you know, I had to ask him the same thing, so here it goes.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Michael, this is Angel, Daddy, or Papi, like you tell me. I just want to let you know I'm super proud of you, of everything you have done in your life, all of your accomplishments. And I'm always going to be here for you, and always grateful that you have my back always when I need you. I do not know how this friendship became all this, but we're more than friends, we're more than family. Take care always, and you're always going to be the big baby of the family. Love you so much. Keep going on. You're special. And I love the fact that you always have involved your mom in your things and being part of our family. Say hello to Mom if you talk to her soon, or if she's listening. Hi, Mom. Take care. Michael, you're a wonderful person. Love you.
Oh. Te amo, papi.
The pageant world went into a whirlwind in 2015 when Mr. US of A and Mr. Continental, Michael J. Valentine, became an item. There were many positive things that you experienced during this time, but many negative ones as well. Mm-hmm. Tell me about the negative ones first. And I don't want this to be, you know, a 20-minute conversation, but yeah. No. I feel like there's a lot of insight here on your perspective of what you experienced.
Yes. I think it's challenging to be a title holder. I think from my perspective, never being a national title holder, not knowing what it was, but also still being a gay man looking for love, I didn't think you could not do both at the same time. Unfortunately, I also didn't realize a lot of systems don't want that, or I didn't realize the controversy or the separations, like you can't do that. And a lot of times there was not support, whether I saw an email or I was on speakerphone and heard a conversation that I wasn't allowed to be present at certain events or certain functions because it wouldn't be right for Mr. US of A to be seen with Mr. Continental. The relationship part was pushed out, and you're always constantly fighting that battle. And it's already hard to be a gay couple in America as it is. Having people really attack you, always watching you, it sucked. It really sucked at times. It was heartbreaking. You want to show your love and your support for somebody. You have prelims, at the same time, and it's the divide. It was a competition. Well, how many boys do you have? How many boys do you have? Y'all have to fight. You have to not like each other. It's like, no, we can love each other and be boyfriends and have a great year together. What's so wrong with that? And if that opened the door to hopefully more systems supporting one another, hey, I'll be the person. I'll be the, throw in the towel and let's do it. I started that or whatever. The good things, I think it gave me a lot of support. Michael provided a lot of support for someone who's an experienced national title holder that I didn't know that I needed. He always challenged me with new things, new ways to adapt, you have to do this, and really kind of guided a lot of things that I'll never, ever forget or ever be ungrateful for the things that he kind of showed me. And I just really hate that there was a lot of separation. But I'm grateful, for the relationship, everything that came out of it, everything that blossomed. And it really was part of my reign. So I'll never take that back and always hold it close to me.
How's your relationship with Michael now?
It's good. I wish he would get over himself and come compete at Mr. US of A. I truly believe he is one of the most talented male entertainers in the country. I think he just gets in his head a lot. So I have nothing but admiration, support for him, anything that he chooses to do. He's very well versed in his craft, multi-talented in everything he can do. So we're cool. We're fine. I don't see him. We live in like 20 states apart, so it's not like we have kikis or anything like that.
Well, I asked him.
Oh God.
Hey Michael. So this is totally random, but I had to do this. So I'm really excited to watch your interview tonight because I want people to see who you really are as a person. Like, I got to spend a lot of time with you one-on-one, and I got to see how, funny and sweet and charming and smart and charismatic and confident and strong you are. And I don't think a lot of people see that because they only see what you put on stage, and that's an entirely different person. But I am sad that pageants are all canceled this year because I don't get to spend time with you, and we always have a good time together, making fun of everybody. Shh, don't tell anybody that. But we do always have a great time together. And that being said, I can't wait to see this interview tonight, and I miss you, and keep smiling, handsome.
He's so crazy.
So let's talk about Continental. Yeah.
The year I won.
Oh God, now you're being messy. You see,
No,
and then they talk about me because people want to put me back in the fire for asking the questions. I'm just here asking the questions.
We have the answers,
baby.
all the answers.
And then they want to call me messy. Listen, let's talk about Continental. There were rumors at the time. Well, actually, before we go into Continental, how about we open it up with a message from Mr. Continental himself?
Well, what could I say about Michael motherfucking LaMasters? I met him back in 2013, and he was judging me for a contest here in Houston, Texas, and my first thoughts of Michael was, he has strong facial expressions. But from that point on, our friendship blossomed, and I'm so grateful to have him in my life. And, he's, in just a couple of words, is, he's strong, he's opinionated, he's powerful in his words, he is powerful in his actions. And I'm just really blessed to have him in my life. And I'm grateful that, I could call him a close friend, even though we don't talk every day of every hour of every minute. But I'm just so happy that I could call him my friend and my drag father. And I love you, Michael. You're amazing. And Raul, I hope you make him cry at least like 15 times today. So love you, Michael.
I love Mr. Desi Derulo, and I'm not gonna cry.
You need to shed a tear.
I'm holding it in, suppressed, remember?
Listen, okay, so here goes the question. I have to ask the question. That's what I'm here for. There were rumors at the time when Mr. Continental Ramon Ventura was not allowed to return to the US that you had called immigration to report his legal status. Did you call immigration?
No, I did not. But let me backtrack to the night that he won and kind of explain my story and my side. I was so enthralled, excited. I was the last person to qualify, and I got ready in 2 weeks for Mr. Continental, something I would never advise somebody to do. I don't know what I was on. I was like, we got to do this. And I remember crying, of course, me backstage with Angel when they announced the top 5. And I was thrown back. I was like, is this happening? Like, these people are crazy. Like, 2 weeks ago, I was sitting on the sofa, chilling, and now I'm being called out. I have to get ready for question and answer. Like, this is actually an opportunity. This is real. This is legit. Like, I could be another national title holder. I was like, okay. So the emotions are running rampant. I never even heard who won that night because it's going from, 5th place, 4th place, 3rd place. And when it goes to first runner up, like, I just had a moment of freeze, and I'm like, I'm not 5th place. Like, I made the top 5 and I'm not 5th place. And all I remember is Christopher Iman running up to me with an envelope. And I'm like, who won? Somebody talk to me. Like, I don't know what's happening. And everyone's like hugging and jumping. And there's just a celebration, and you're lost because you're like, did I win? Did he win? Who won? What is going on? And then you look over and it's like, oh, girl, well, I'm holding this envelope and I don't have this medallion. Girl, I didn't win the pageant. And a lot of people are like, oh, were you bitter? I don't get bitter over pageantry. Was I upset? I was upset because when I saw the moment that I could achieve it, I really wanted it. I was like, oh, I want this moment. I worked hard. I can do it. I know that this moment is mine. And at any night, when that's taken away from you, you're defeated. You feel dejected. You feel, God, I gave it my all and I didn't do it. Well, I'll never forget, Antoine Steele came up to me that night at the baton, and he was like, you lost by a point. Then my world was wrecked. I was like, I was this close. I was this close. And I could see from an outside perspective from other people, I made that a hashtag for a while at one point. But I bring a lot of humor into how I deal with things. The 1 point was never directed towards Ramon. It was never directed towards the continental system. To me, it was always like a reminder of like, bitch, you were this close and you got ready in 2 weeks. Like, one, I will accept that. That's the ticket for me. When it came on later on and he couldn't come back into the country, it was a very sad moment. That 1 point really gets you, Chevelle. She knows about that 1 point. It was kind of awestruck. I heard a lot of things going back and forth, this, that, and the other. But when it comes down to regular life, whether it's pageantry, I would never wish that upon anybody. I would never go out of my way to call some type of legal service or some government authority to ban somebody from coming back into the country. Ever whatsoever, ever. I would never wish that upon my enemies. This is supposed to be a free land where we go. The only regrets, it wouldn't really be regret. I don't regret much in life. In retrospect, the only thing I wish I could have taken back at that time is I stayed silent. I sat back. I let everybody have all the drama and the actions. I could see the posts. And I think in my mind, I thought, oh, well, I'm not a title holder. I don't know anyone an explanation. I don't have to have a voice now because I'm not being held accountable to anything. And I stayed silent. I wish I could go back and speak my piece then. I wish I could have said something, stood up for him, Maybe got to know him a little better. I don't know anything about the kid. Great entertainer. I wish he could have had his entire reign. I would be devastated if that ever happened to me, whether it would be real life or during my reign. I couldn't imagine someone cutting off my US of A. Oh, girl, I'd be evil if that happened to me. So in retrospect, I wish I voiced that more so people could have heard my story then or what really happened. So maybe it could have got exposed. That's the only thing I would have really changed about that.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. During these times, a lot of people are out of work, including myself. I'm an event producer, and we're about to go to commercial. And this is a clip from my company
Commercials.
because this is what I do, and the sponsors of this show. So everybody needs to watch the commercial now and support me.
Come through commercials.
You and your little,
Oh, you can see all that?
all of it, all of it.
You, I thought when that's up, I'm like, oh,
Bitch, all of it.
I'm over here just
Listen, I have you recorded. I have you like that recorded. I'm gonna show it to you later.
No.
I'll post that shit. Especially at the beginning, you were like,
yes, because it was counting down. So I was like, oh, he can't see me.
Listen to me. Okay, so what I'm trying to, because of the feedback of everybody on social media, and everything that's been going on with this show, our guests, they've been amazing. This is my 32nd episode, and it is a lot of work. I have to be honest with you. It's a lot of work. Sometimes I just want to say, okay, that's it, But then I got a call the other day, for example, from Marcus and Chelsea Pearl, and how they watch the show and how they love and how she feels when she watches it and how, it does something for them. And I get messages daily from so many people encouraging me to continue, but it's rough. It really is tough to do this on my own. So I'm doing my best to expand this platform, and I'm doing my best to be able to continue it. So, but I need everybody's help. So Facebook is being a little shady sometimes, and we have to secure another platform. And this is why I created the YouTube platform, the channel, and I just need subscriptions there, so that people can subscribe. Look for it. It's a link on my Facebook page. You can just click it and it takes subscribe. Only one click. But it's going to help me to be able to back this up. And if you are able to donate, what I'm thinking next is that we're going to be traveling to different cities. So there's like this huge thing going on about how we're going to expand it. So, but I wanted to make this announcement here with you tonight so that people understand that, if we want this to continue happening, then I need some help because I'm tired.
You got to support Raul. I think it's my 2 cents in that is you have found a way to connect the pageant community during a time where we yearn for that week. We yearn for that weekend of interacting with our brothers and sisters from all over the country. We get to see, oh gosh, she's booked in the show. We get to see that person that we don't see but once or twice per year. And you've created this amazing platform to let people still relive, get that opportunity. Yeah, we're not up here shaking it in rhinestones or doing anything like that, but it kind of gives us a sense of connection, and there's that good feeling every time you do these interviews. So I'm grateful that you're doing them.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And it is there for everybody. And I have a long list of entertainers look at all the entertainers that we have across the nation. And and my job is not to sit here. It's not what I'm about, and just ditch out dirt and talk about the gossip or the this and that and what is so and so told you. It's not about that. It's a time to elevate you. It's to pay tribute to every single entertainer that has had a career and that is starting a career. I want to move on to community work and highlight community organizations. I want to highlight newcomers. I want to highlight so many things, but I really truly cannot do it on my own. So I'm out of work. This takes my entire day every day. It's like a full-time job. It's crazy. And like I said, like sometimes I just want to say, listen, I can't. But people are very encouraging, and I do it out of love, man. I love this. I love my people. I just like it's just I do enjoy it, but I need some help. So I'm just letting it known that I do need some help. Financially, get me some sponsors, some people that want to put commercials on this thing. I need some help. I need to get somebody.
My OnlyFans link? No.
I can get yours though. I can put it there so you can donate.
I'll donate all
from
my
your
OnlyFans sponsorship tonight.
25% of your OnlyFans get donated to the show.
100%. You get 100% today.
Let's watch these moments from this Pan Continental. Girl, you're a mess. Baby, that body was bronze. Baby, that body was sun-kissed. that body said, "Mwah!"
I live for that stage, the fantasy.
So everybody knows that you had a great experience. It was a great time you competing there. It was magical. How we know how everything evolved. You just told us. Now my question is, are you gonna go back?
I don't know. It's not a never say never, no, hardcore. I will never do this, but it's also not in my future right now of like, this is what I'm preparing for. This is what I'm planning for. Hell, the last time I did it 2 weeks before. So I'm not going to tell myself I will never do this ever again. I think that stage is very unique. It gives you a different feeling than USFS stage, but I think each major national stage, there's something about it when you're on it and that spotlight hits you and you see that crowd, like you want that moment.
Feel it, bitch.
Like, and it's weird to die. I wish like there could be like subscripts, kind of like an opera, of like what you think about when you're doing your category, especially Continental, because it's so fucking fast. You gotta like get on and off, so that dialogue has to go fast and like what you tell yourself. So I won't say it's never in the cards that I will never ever do it. But I'm also not saying I'm preparing and trying and wanting that right now in my life.
Okay. So what are you doing now? What's next for you? What are you doing now? What's going on? What's going on with you now?
Not much because Miss Corona, but just working, really focusing on that right now. Trying to work on promoting up within my company, moving into higher levels of management. I'm in a relationship officially now.
We're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
so what are you doing now? What are you doing now?
Just really, it's really a lot of work. I'm so thankful CrossFit's back open. Our gym has done a lot. That's like my stress relief, my therapy.
Yes, bitch.
Every day. Yes, to just let it out. I can deal with Karens all day, and then I can go do 100 pull-ups.
Let me tell you something. When I was fine, they opened up the gyms here, and all of a sudden they announced they were closing everything again, and I had a breakdown. I went live and I cursed everybody out.
Yes.
Like it was a moment for me. Everybody reached out to me like, like, boy, you okay? And I'm like, you don't understand. If they cancel this gym, what happens to me? You know,
Yeah, because
you
it's all built in, and I have no outlet.
so I
So
get you.
yeah, so it's really just a lot of focusing on myself and right now, and just doing my own thing.
Okay, cute. So you're
Yeah,
not single and you have a new relationship. His name is Alan Rios. And
yeah.
tell me about Alan.
Alan, he's the sweetest ever.
He's the
uh,
sweetest.
yeah, he's originally from Cancun, Mexico. Quintana Roo or something. I don't know. Don't give me. I'm teaching him Spanish right now, by the way. So we've been having a good time with that. Uh, we actually met on a dating app, not a nasty app. So it was never like a hookup. I really appreciate. He's been very straightforward, like what he wants in a relationship, and he wasn't afraid to be like, "Okay, bitch, I've known you this fast. Like, this needs to be exclusive. We're not going to be out there on the market uh, for that." So things are blossoming great. Like he's such a sweet guy, very caring, very loving, very genuine. I love his friend group. They've accepted me like with open arms from day one. So it's just really been great. I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to see what it's going to be in the future.
You read that?
Yeah, there's no video.
Oh, well, it wouldn't be me if there wasn't a video.
Oh, I told you.
Boy, you threatened that boy and you scared that boy to death by telling him that you're an asshole. You know that. You know that.
I was like, you better not be. I said, did
Let
he
me tell you
call you?
something.
Did
You
he
scared
call
that
you?
boy to death. You are evil. Just listen.
Hey babe, so I'm making this little video to let you know how I feel about you. You'll probably already know this, but I feel so grateful that I have the opportunity to be making this video for this interview. And I want to start with how passionate you are. It really makes me feel great and amazed how passionate you are about every single thing that you do, how much energy and effort you put in every single aspect of your life, every single day, as I told you. And I am so happy for having the opportunity to be making these memories with you, and I am so excited for our future together. I'm looking forward to it. You don't have an idea. You make me so much happy. I feel great with you. I feel beyond lucky to have you as my boyfriend. And I am so proud of all your accomplishments. Probably I didn't know you back then, but I feel that I did because everything that makes you happy makes me happy. And I just wanted to let you know that.
I told you I was not going to cry on this.
I had
Why
to.
would you do
I
that
had
to me?
to.
I was so
Baby, I gotta
close.
take
I
out
was
the
so
guns,
close.
baby. I had to take out the guns, baby. Ain't nobody has sat
Ah,
here before and not just shed at least one tear.
you do know that Desi's going to hold this against me. This is all he wanted in life, was to see me cry on live.
Okay, so you know, we took up. I never expected that we were gonna be sitting here for 2 hours. I only have 10 minutes left of our time because I'm over you. I love you, but I'm over you. I'm just kidding. But people's choice. If you have questions for Michael, this is the time to ask
Uh-oh.
him. The cash apps are right there, and right.
Wait, there and
They,
there.
yeah. So let's go on. Any questions? We have a question here for you. What would it take to get you back competing? What do you think was your most memorable performance and why? It's a two-part question.
That's that's a three-part question, of course. Mr. Brisses with all the interview questions. He's ready for it. I don't think it would just take me to decide really to get back to competing. If it's a desire, if it's a want, it has to be something that I want in the moment. Competing, competitions, pageants has always been an extracurricular activity. It's been a hobby. It's something that I love enjoying and working on, but it's not like my full-time job. I think it would just take my own time in my life where I'm like, I want to do this again. And when I want something, I get it and I go for it. And there's no questions asked. I'm going to do it. My most memorable performance had to be prelim night of the year that I won. Because everyone knows I don't like to dance and do all the little, I want to give looks and body and do all that. but I know I had to give a performance. Like you can't hold anything back. And when I came out and I was the last contestant of prelim night, I was sick as a dog. I remember Mike and Rob were my promoters, and they're in the dressing room like, what is going on? And I'm like, I'm dying. I just lost. Like we spent all this money, we did everything, I'm gonna lose. And they just chugged me full of Red Bulls, and I went out there, did none of the choreography, just did a full Prince routine, high kick, jumped in the air, crowds going up. And I just remember getting off stage and everyone like, bitch, that was the most Michael performance you've ever given in your life. And I'm just like, what is the ticket? Like, what just happened? And I'll never forget that moment. And all the video, you hear Jeffrey screaming in the back, bitch, get like, Ram running up to me. It was just that moment that I'll never forget. That it's like everything you worked for, like, leave it on the stage. And I left it there that night, as sick as I was, and it paid off.
Who's your favorite Mr. Continental?
My favorite Mr. Continental is not Desi Andrews. I love him with all my heart, but he's got to stop asking this question. You're supposed to have more things to say.
Who's your favorite Continental Plus?
No, I want to go. My favorite Mr. Continental, I have to say, actually was Antoine Steele.
It was?
Antoine Steele was my favorite because the fact, I don't think I could ever do something for 19 years and not throw in the towel. And I will always admire and honor that. That is a true sign of like never giving up on something that you really, really want. And he's just one that's, I'll just never forget that. Who is my favorite Miss Continental Plus? Is that my next question?
Yes.
Oh my God. Why am I drawing a blank?
Girl, Roxy's asking you this question.
I know she's asking the question. She wants me to
You
say
better say Roxy. You better say Roxy.
So to her defense, I didn't know Roxy when she reigned. I don't know. I don't have a favorite one because I like different things from. This is bad. I didn't go to Easter weekend.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I have this beautiful question. What do you pray for at night? I'm going to steal that question. I'm going to ask everybody that question.
I love this question.
Yeah, I love that question.
What I pray that I wake up the next day. I do every day. I ask for forgiveness for anything I might have done wrong in the day. I just always want forgiveness, and then I always hope for love and kindness the next day, and try to find something to just do good the next day. And I just pray for that every night.
What is your fondest moment during our shoots together, Theo?
Theo took me on a whirlwind, really pushing me. I never forget walking in with like a little bag, not knowing anything about Theo's and what you're supposed to, and him looking like, where's your stuff? And I'm like, these two things, what are you talking about? Like, I just gave you all my money. What are we supposed to do? But the fact that he pushed with two little things, pushed me to my limits, made me find ways to really produce a picture with the little that we had and the little that I brought. We turned out some of the most beautiful photos. But he always just pushed me, not only in our photo shoots, but he was also a mentor and a guide throughout the year. And he was always encouraging, always uplifting, always pushing me to be the best version of myself. And he did everything in his power to put that on print form as well.
What are your top 3 favorite movies and why?
Girl, that's boring, BB. I don't know. I love the old Lion King, hands down. One of my favorite movies. Bring It On, because I've watched it like 9 million times. Just love the entire movie. I think my third movie was Green Mile, because every time I watch it, I cry, without a doubt. That is just a suck you in tearjerker of a movie.
You know, Girl, I can't believe you couldn't answer that Continental Plus question. You got Chevelle, you got Desiree, you got Angelica, you got all these ladies.
But it's not fair to me to judge them on reigns that I didn't see. I can't
Oh,
judge
now
them
you
based
might
on
be
what I'm rich.
political. Oh,
I'm not being political.
oh.
You can't pick your good Judy just because you knew them outside of it. And then you're like, girl, I didn't see you win 5 years ago. I was never a part of it, but you're my favorite girl.
What is your boyfriend Alan's best feature?
There's so many. I would say his honesty, and his, I wouldn't be sincerity, just like his sweet nature.
Yeah, he's like innocent, almost.
Yeah,
It's like almost
it's
like a.
so pure. It's just a pure sweetness that I just love every day.
All right, all right. So here we go. Last question.
Do you want to build a snowman? I can't believe this is the question. Every day I want to build a snowman. I love Frozen. That was amazing.
I want to thank you so much for being here tonight, for
Thank you for
accepting
having
my
me.
invitation. I want you to do these little commercials with me. I got Sunday Delights live feed hair sale on Saturdays at 1 p.m. on Facebook. She does an amazing job. So if you need hair, this is the lady to go to. Every Tuesday evening, Stasha Sanchez at
Yes.
10 p.m. Eastern time, baby. She puts on a
Wow.
show on Instagram, not Facebook, on Instagram. Divas and Dukes, Trinity K. Bonet, every Sunday, 9:30 p.m. Baby, that show is the show. And Miss Sophia, don't want a minute of it. She is hilarious. During this show. It's every Sunday. And Tuesdays and Saturdays, my auntie Desiree the morning, she puts on a show too.
Never
She's
repeats a
been
costume.
never, and she's done 4 days.
Every
4 days. So we're almost at that time, baby. Every Wednesday night at 10 o'clock Central Time. Our point of view with Chevelle, Neil, Tevin, and Nicole. This is, if you haven't watched this, you must. It is
It's
a
good.
must. It is a must. We got coffee break Mondays at 9 p.m. I don't know if it's where is it at? Is it Eastern or Central? I'm not too
Central
sure.
Time. Yeah,
Central Time at 9 p.m. every Monday. And I gotta give a shout out to my girl from right here, my neck of the woods, Miss TP Lords. She puts on amazing drive-by shows, drag shows. She just like pops her fucking trunk. She has a full sound system. She makes a party just on your driveway. Like, it's amazing what she has created, and this is what she does. Just a drive-by drag show, and it's amazing. If you have not followed her, please follow her. And she's here in South Florida, here in Miami, and Fort Lauderdale, but she does amazing. She's a former Miss Florida too, and that's my girl. I've known her for years. And of course, tomorrow, Intimate Evening with Tasha Long at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And those are my girls. Those are my girls. Those are my ladies. So make sure you support every single one of them. Even just if you want to send a little cash up and you can't stay to watch the show, that's a way to support them. Please support this platform. Help me out so I can help you out. And love every single person that I have here. Show some love to Michael. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this. And tomorrow I have the amazing, the legend, Jasmine Bonet. This is going to be a good one. She has not done this before. It's her first and probably will be her only time where she's going to talk about some real shit. So tomorrow we meet here at the same time. Remember to subscribe on my YouTube channel. My link is on the Facebook page, baby. That's it. I've said everything I had to say.
There you go.
So why don't you just say bye to everybody and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Just end the show.
And I got this.
Go ahead.
Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a little bit of insight on what makes me tick, who I am. My only message out to everybody is we only live for here and now. So live in the moment, love with your whole heart, just be kind to one another. Tomorrow's not promised, so hold nothing back. Just do better and strive to be a better person every single day. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in.